And we're going to stick with the nature theme. We're going to play a very new piece of music, actually. It's based on a very old piece of music. This is a piece called Daughter of the Stars, and it's written by a Rhode Island-based composer named Heather Niemi Savage, excuse me. And this piece is a short piece for string orchestra that was inspired by the folk song Shenandoah, which some of you may know, especially if you're from the South. And what's interesting about this piece is that sort of the tune, which you might recognize, it doesn't appear till near the end of the piece of music. Actually, it's almost like the surprise in the Cracker Jack box. In order to get there, you get through some really wonderful music that sort of reminds you of the folk song and gets you into the character. But it's not until the very end that you actually hear sort of the germ or the seed, if you will, of the piece of music itself. She writes in her program note that there's a middle part of this piece that's a little more dissonant, a little more anxious sounding, and she writes that of course she's responding to the legacy, some of the darker legacy of the South and the landscape that gave rise to this tune. So she's recognizing that in the music. So basically, you'll hear the tune at the end, and in the middle you hear a little more anxious portion. And at the beginning, you'll hear sort of a music that sort of is reminiscent of the tune. I tend to think of this piece almost like a dream, where you sort of recognize something sort of, and then it gets a little scary in the middle, and then you wake up, you're like, I know why I had that dream. So maybe if you can hear the piece in this way, it might help you sort of get inside Heather's mind as she composed it. And I believe this is the first time it's been played in Massachusetts before, so you can say you were here when it happened. lovely piece, I think, and just Massachusetts premiere. So you heard it here first.